Hello, my name is Dale Allen Hoffman. I'm coming to you from up on my mountain, our mountain, overlooking Asheville, North Carolina. Beautiful Appalachian City of Light. I had to move a couple of times because of various things like ants and too much of an intensity of sun and just too many snakes because I'm barefoot, of course. And one of them went right over my foot. So, okay, we're not going to do that while I'm filming. But I want to talk about weeds. Weeds? Let's talk about weeds. You know, something that I open up pretty much all of my Magdalene events with, whether it be one of the Sacred Fire of Ecstasy talks, or retreats, or just Magdalene activation, all the different events, Divine Feminine, etc. And I guess it applies completely to Yeshua and or Christos as well. It's not just about Mary Magdalene. It's also about the masculine. It's about looking for anything outside of yourself. True story. Yeah, I'm standing sideways here looking at the side of our house here up on the mountain. And one of the things I usually start with is I talk about how when we first moved in up here in Asheville about 14 years ago, we had this massive amount of weeds and things that were growing all over the back of the house, and it was starting to move into the house. So we started ripping them back, hacking them down, tearing them down. You know, all the while, Loretta keeps saying, my beautiful bride Loretta, she's constantly saying, well, you know, I'd love to have a wisteria plant. I think you can get where this is going. So she's going around down the mountain, getting cuttings from other people's plants. Keeps cutting wisteria, trying to grow it, won't grow. Tries it in water, won't grow. Water and soil won't grow. Soil won't grow. Nothing. Could not get those cuttings to move. Nothing. Over and over and over again, trying from several different plants. Years go by, 3 or 4 years, and we're hacking back these weeds, and then spring comes one year, and just happened to come to this end of the house to bring out the lawnmower, I believe, and all of a sudden we look up, and all over the side of the mountain here is all of this vegetation, those weeds we've been trying to kill. But we noticed, hey, wait a second, these are blooming. Wait a second here. That's wisteria we've been trying to kill. We've been looking outside of ourselves for the past 3-4 years now, killing something that we had right here in our own home, right here on our own land, and we've been trying to kill that and beat it back because it seemed to be moving out all over the place. It felt so difficult to control. So we kill it, cut it back, and what happened is now that wisteria is popping up all over our yard. It's coming in the side of the house, our shed. It's coming up all over on the sides of the hill. It's taking over rose bushes and everything. We're constantly cutting it back. That plant that we tried to find outside of ourselves that was right here in our home the whole time. I find it fascinating. Another thing that I often say in the beginning of the Magdalene events and often a lot of Yeshua events, I tell people, look, you know, there's this amazing quote from the Gospel of Philip, written originally in Syriac Aramaic, not allowed in the Bible, of course. That's the one that says, you know, Mary Magdalene, who was called his companion, who he used to kiss often on her blank spot. People often spit out mouth, but it doesn't actually say that. The texts that we have are either broken off or smudged out of all the copies we have. So we don't really know. I think people just hope it's mouth, okay? And I would say, actually, that's what Elaine Pagels says. She's awesome. She's a great rock star scholar if you want to look up Elaine Pagels. But there's a place in the Gospel of Philip where it says Jesus took them all by stealth, for he did not appear in the manner in which he was, but only in the manner in which they were able to see him. He appeared to the great as great, to the small as small, to the angels and to angels and to men as a man. Because of this, his word hid itself from everyone. Some indeed did see him, thinking, though, that they were seeing themselves. Some indeed did see him, thinking, though, that they were seeing themselves. Let's go a little deeper with that. Let's change that. What I often do is I change that from Jesus to Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene took them all by stealth, for she did not appear in the manner in which she was, but only in the manner in which they were able to see her. She appeared to the great as great, to the small as small, to the angels as an angel, and to women as a woman. Because of this, her word hid itself from everyone. Some indeed did see her, thinking, though, that they were seeing themselves. Had an interesting experience the other day in Virginia Beach. I was deeply, deeply honored to be one of the keynote speakers for the 45th annual family gathering, anniversary of Fellowship of the Inner Light, just a little bit of space away from the Edgar Cayce Institute, ARE actually, and had an incredible talk, The Feminine Temple of Light, which was humbling. It got it got to be about a minute of a standing ovation. I'm going, okay, it's enough. Because it's not about me. It's really not about me. But in the afternoon, I did an event about Magdalene, about the divine feminine, about a lot of the things that we are mistaking all the time. And I found it intriguing because I was constantly taking everyone from looking outside to looking inside. Exactly what Magdalene did, exactly what Yeshua did. And this woman had come up to me at the end. I was in such a heart-open space. It was so gorgeous and beautiful. I was just popping on all cylinders. And she came up talking about this, the magic ancient text, and I've heard this 1,000 times. I say that with an absolute open heart. I hear all the time, this is the text that's going to fill in the blanks, as if I feel lots of blanks in the story. I'm not looking at the story to be filled. I'm not looking at the story for some kind of puzzle pieces. Once you find it within, there's no puzzle left. It's an interesting thing. And there's no way I can explain that to you. You have to have either a direct experience of it or, go at it. Go try to find it outside of yourself. But I found it interesting. She was talking about how it was written by Pontius Pilate's nephew, and it's a text I'd already looked at in the past, etc. And she was saying, I think this is the one that's going to fill in the missing pieces. It was interesting because I said to her, I've not only have I seen that, but I've heard this probably at least 1,000 times about all different kinds of texts. This is the one with the missing pieces, the missing years, whatever, as if they somehow went, AWOL or something like that. And I brought her back to herself, and I said, and I, just from an open space, my open heart, I said, are you breathing right now? And wow, did that launch her. She literally, bug eyes, come flying out, totally loses it. And she's like, oh yes, I am breathing right now. As a matter of fact, I have been studying diaphragm breathing and all this holotropic, all these different things. I found it very interesting because she totally lost it. And then she was like, puts her finger in my face, if you ever think you may actually be able to find something outside of yourself instead of always having to find it within, maybe you can look the text up. Have a nice day. And she turns and storms off. And this other woman leans in and goes, was that casting out demons? Because I was just talking about what the demons actually meant in Aramaic. It was such a trip. And the lady storms off, and all these people are looking, and they come in close to me, and I'm like, not going there. Is everybody breathing? Anyway, later that night, we were at a dinner party, sort of a cocktail party, I guess, for a dear friend of ours, Mary Elizabeth, or I think she just goes by Elizabeth Marlowe now. Mary was the co-writer, ghostwriter for Being and Vibration with Joseph Rael, Beautiful Painted Arrow. Of course, I quote Joseph all the time. We were over at her house, and someone starts talking about how that woman sort of kind of got up in my grill and everything. And they were talking about how it was amazing that they were like, Dale didn't bite the hook. And I'm like, well, number one, my heart was wide open. Number two, there was really no hook for me to bite. And they talked about how she stormed out, and the one lady had said, the comment, who was actually there now, about the casting out demons thing, and everybody kind of laughed. And then all of a sudden someone threw the name out. It's like, oh yeah, everybody knew who she was. I have no idea. Honestly, if I had to tell you what she looked like now, I don't know that I'm sure I don't remember. I just found it interesting, though, that the hostility we have about finding something inside of ourselves, about not having to go looking for it out there. There's going to be a lot of insights coming through Loretta and myself over the next couple of years. We're getting ready to kick it up into a complete high gear that we've been wanting to for years. One of those is we will begin podcasting audio and video several times a week. We're going to be doing shorter videos, not necessarily 45, 50-minute videos like we've been doing, or even 2-hour videos. I'll put up an hour at a time. But podcasting, shorter, concentrated chunks with very particular information. If you got things you want to know, write to us, AramaicHealingCircle@yahoo.com or office@DaleAllenHoffman.com. Drop us a line and tell us, what it is you would like to have covered. One of those things that we'll do a lot with is the Magdalene material. And one of those things that I also find fascinating is a lot of the French connection, for lack of a better terminology. And that word Graal is an old French word. Grail is what that ultimately became. That means the earthen receptacle that holds the essence of God, that holds the essence of oneness, non-duality, whatever you want to call that wholeness, holiness. It's an interesting thing that most people don't even know what masculine and feminine are. We're going to talk more about that. The feminine is the container. The feminine is like a magnetism. She nests in upon herself. The masculine is that which injects. It's the seed. It's like an arc of electricity that fires out. Okay, it's an arc, spark, spark, spark. It's the creative process, I should say, whereas the creation happens within the womb of the mother. Interesting to look at our earth right now, what we call Mother Earth, this feminine nature that we have. It's so completely disregarded, especially with the White House and the state that it's in right now. Everything's completely focused on money and on upper echelon getting plump. Whereas everything for the real, the ones that are actually doing the actual hard, bone-breaking, fingernail busting work are being literally completely ignored. That's what happens when you have that over masculinity, spark, spark, spark. Now there's a balance between the feminine and the masculine. The feminine is the grail. She's that earthen receptacle. She's the womb of the feminine that holds the essence of the seed, which is the masculine. In the balance between the magnetism and the electricity, we have electromagnetism, which I'll be doing lots of videos about. That's called several different things in the ancient teachings. Just to give it to you very kind of quickly, the main thing that's generally called is the bridal chamber. And people totally and completely don't have a clue what that means, including people that are considered Gnostic experts. They're out there talking about all this, sex and bed thing, and that's a piece of it, but that's not actually what it means. Here's what I'm asking you. I'm simply asking you to let us know, AramaichealingCircle@yahoo.com, office@DaleAllenHoffman.com. Let us know what it is you're interested in. Let us know what kind of subjects that you'd like to see us doing videos about. There's going to be a lot more of an integration of what Loretta and I are doing together. We're going to be focusing a lot more on, a lot more on audio-visual, and we're going to be focusing a lot more on videos, audio, which is what audio-visual means. Hey, I didn't get to this place, just by chance. Just kidding. But what I'm saying here is we've been wanting for several years, been talking about doing an online school. So I don't know that it's going to start out as being completely formal as a school, but we are going to go very deeply into audiovisual programs. They're going to cover subjects that we're not going to be doing on YouTube. They're not going to be out there for the public, that you'll have to get into a subscription program, something along those lines in order to get them. It's ever so clear for me now because I've been so deep in this mentoring program for half a year now, and it's so incredibly rewarding with participants all over the U.S., and in Europe, and it's been really amazing to be able to do that on a weekly basis, go really deep with each participant, one-on-one with whatever it is that's rocking your world, whatever it is that you feel like you've got to know right now. And you can text me during the week and ask me questions. You can make lists, which we usually get to once and never look at again. You can, we can sort of make a list of the different things that we're going to talk about in the call. It's really incredible. It's awesome. It's wide open. Loretta gets involved in those calls, which is really powerful and profound. Sometimes it's the two of us with a participant, which is even more profound. Though we're going to be doing something that I've resisted for a while, which is a crowdfunding campaign. That crowdfunding campaign is something that we did to get my first book, Echoes of an Ancient Dream, Aramaic Toning on the Path of Light. We got it out there through Indiegogo. And I resist because I don't want to constantly go back to the people and ask for money. But this is something that's very, very unique. That funding is going to be to enable us to get not only a high-end 4K videographer's camera, which I've been talking about for a couple of years, but something called the Pyradime. And the Pyradime you're going to hear more and more about. It's a device that we've done events with August Worley, the creator of the Pyradime, who worked one-on-one with Bob Moog, who created the biggest selling analog synths ever. Actually, the Mini Moog Voyager that Bob and August created, August Worley is his name, is actually the biggest selling analog synth ever. Analog meaning pure tone, pure frequency, not a sample, but an actual sine wave, okay? We've been using this in our breathwork events, etc., in deep healing processes, and I can't even begin to explain what this Paradigm does. We're going to make a crowdfunding video just in a few days where we're going to film it, and we're going to have to tell people, look, play this through something with a subwoofer, but you're still not going to hear the frequencies there. It can't replicate those frequencies. So we're going to be doing events with people laying on the ground in the breath work, looking at the ceiling with visualizations, the fractals like I've done in my other videos, like my Lord's Prayer video, that's going to be coming from the paradigm. The paradigm is going to feed that program where you're going to actually be able to see the sounds on the ceiling. You're going to see representations, visualizations of those sounds. It's a very incredible, profound process. So this crowdfunding is also going to enable us to get the paradigm and the projector, but also the camera, and if we're able to get that far, a PA system that's going to allow us to get an 18-inch subwoofer and a couple other things for larger events that'll replicate even lower frequencies down to 20 hertz, where you're not even hearing them anymore. It's just sensed rather than seen, and that's what spirit is. Spirit, ruach is frequency and vibration. It's pulsation, okay? So stay tuned. We've got a lot coming. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos. Loretta's going to be involved in more of the videos. If you're interested in the mentoring program, you can go on the mentorship program on my website. You go to daleallenhoffman.com, click on, I think, private sessions, then click on mentorship with Dale. You can just call us. The Aramaic Healing Circle number is 828-707-5877. Or email us, aramaichealingcircle@yahoo.com or office@daleallenhoffman.com. If you're interested, let us know. We actually have a couple of spaces because I decided chose that I'm going to take on a couple more because I really want to get deep with a very strong group of souls around the world, and I want to keep going deeper. So if you're ready, if you're one of those ones that are looking for the closest thing that I'll ever probably do to what I would call discipleship, because this is a word kind of, even though I know it means discipline, it ain't about me gathering people around me. That's not working. So as I say this, there's actually a beautiful honeybee on the camera right now. Kind of cool. Maybe it'll go over the lens. That would be kind of neat. So here I am in nature. A lot more videos on the way. If you're interested in the mentorship program, get in now while you can, because I absolutely will not be doing this past 2017. There might be a few that are lagging into 2018 that I'm still in the process of completing, or ones that are one-upping. Everybody that's come in so far has been one-upping and doing it again. I'm no longer offering 12 and 6 month ones, only 3 months, because if you're interested in the mentorship, we're also offering a monthly option for the first time ever, where you pay per month. Okay, we've never done that before, and it's not something that we're going to offer for very long. So if you're interested in that, the monthly option's $500 a month rather than having to do $1,500 for 3 months, or I think it was $2,800 for 6 months, $5,000 for a year. That's 1 month is 4 sessions. Okay, it's not necessarily a calendar month. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 sessions. And that includes that 1 hour plus phone call with me. You get the recording of that where I sound like I'm in a recording studio. You're there too. You sound like you're on a telephone. But everybody's telling me that that's where the true integration happens, is in listening back. Amazing wide open energy on the phone, like standing in a fire. But when they listen back, it's like, whoa, I didn't hear that. Someone asked me to tone the Lord's Prayer the other day. And the first time ever, on the phone, I toned it specifically for her. So now she has her own recording of the Aramaic Lord's Prayer toning. It's just an amazing experience for me, and I know it's amazing for the participants. Totally and completely rewarding. So if you're interested, check that out. Again, stay tuned. There's a lot coming. Let go of that incessant need to find it outside of yourself, even if you think somehow it's out there and you're so sure of it. What I'm trying to tell you is, and you're not going to get it in your head, your mind will never understand or comprehend this, but what I'm saying to you is there is no outside. Okay, there is no exoteric, not in the true sense. There's only within. And I don't even mean spatially within in your body to your guts. I'm saying that there's only that one, that holiness. When you get the taste of that, the direct experience, which I can help open you up to in the mentoring, you'll get it. And you'll realize that all the time that you read all the thousands of books, they were great, they were nice tools, but it started for me when I realized that I didn't know anything. And I realized it was not knowing, not being slammed down, nailed down into something. That's when I realized I was open, and that's when the journey began. When I realized it was me. Not me physically, Dale, but I was the earthen receptacle that holds the essence of the one, of the holiness. It's you. You're the grail. okay? Stop looking outside of yourself and killing your own weeds that you think are so bad and contaminated, okay? It's not out there. I say with all of my heart, I love you, I cherish you. Everybody across the world, everybody that's been watching in the US, in Canada, in Polynesia, in Australia, in New Zealand, Tasmania, in the Philippines, in Russia, all over Europe, in Italy, in Croatia, in Slovenia, in France, in Germany, in the UK, in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands, all over the place. Thank you all for watching. It's getting bigger. Let's give it some time to just allow it to open organically, okay? It's time. We are literally the ones we have been waiting for. It's us. Yes, it's us. With that, I say namaste and amen.